Okay, I'm turning into a bit of a caveman now, um, to be honest. But yeah, I think in the background you can see the shoes, like the shoes and the sandals. So, I'm of the USA, though there are like shoes and sandals like close to the front door, like behind me. And I guess the best way to explain this is I'm Asian, so um, I have like it's like a disastrously diabolical scenario when humans of whatever like continent want to walk in to the house with like shoes on or like whatever, because there's the space like there, wait, let me see, there is the space for like putting the shoes, but even there it like freaks me out, because it's like I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, okay, I understand like humans make fun of like Asian like things. I think it's like an Asian thing disproportionately, but like I don't get it. Like on the bottom of your shoes is like there's like particulate matter from like outside. Like it could be dirt, it could be like whatever type of like bacteria there is. Like it could be like whatever. You could have like gone to like a public restroom and there's like tiny bits of like urine on the bottom of the shoe, and you're supposed to like walk into my house and it's like non-ending with like humans of like Englishman type descent and like like West African black type descent, and they have like, and like I mean like Amerindian descent too. They have this like non-ending like problem to like understand. Like I understand I look like a caveman at the moment, but it drives me like insane because it's like literally you don't understand. You're like you're gonna land on the moon like in your own private car soon enough, and you still do not understand particulate matter on the bottom of a shoe being like transferred by your feet into my house. And I can't do anything to you because you keep making a slave of me, and it's just okay. Anyways, so let's talk today about the separation, not like school integration with the when the European descended like Englishman type genome decided to disproportionately in the USA mix with ham black West African genome essentially. And I've said in the past black, I mean ham genome, like I'm not going to use their like specific name, but so essentially humans descended of like West African slaves. So they decided to like integrate, and together after they had already started to genocide the Armenians and Holocaust the Jews together openly to so it's like it wasn't us in the USA. Okay, correct, though you are the individuals who put the pressure on what was happening to the Jews, to discredit the Jews in several ways, which I've explained in different videos, by trying to make a comparative type of slavery to make the difference be like pulled eventually between what the Jews were in ancient Egypt, to say white-skinned humans, which predominantly Jews are like tan to like very white, at least at the moment in history, to discredit white-skinned humans like earlier than the Holocaust in terms of physical capability, and you've like non-stopped pushed this agenda, which I'm going to make a different video about, in which you say that, for instance, it is genome of like West African individuals, or no, we have fast twitch muscle fibers. It's a number of nuclei and cells and time. It's like, it's obvious Englishman has humans who spend more time reading words in books. It's like literally a higher number of word count. They're using their eyes to read. Okay. Anyways, so let's talk about a separation. So the exact word, if I understand correctly in English, an exodus. Exodus 1. When God saves the Jews from Africa and Africans and Ham genome, and the torture and the evil of having made the Jews slave to the Egyptians, which was this is the first Exodus. And now we have a second form of Shem genome being made slave in Shia, for instance. Shia Muslims being held as slaves in the United States approximately by Englishman type humans. And I've explained this in the past, but Englishman type humans, Africans, like Ham genome, West Africans, Black Africans, and the North American and South American Black Ham genome individuals, and the Amerindians. So essentially like 4 groups. But I could be mischaracterizing a single group. And I've left women out of the conversation for like a moment because women are too powerful, especially at the moment. So anyways, there was a separation. There was, this glorious victory in which God allowed the Jews, who are God's chosen people, but in another sense, I don't want to, cause any religious antagonism. The Jews are Asians. The Jews are descended of Abraham. Abraham, if I understand correctly, by checking online Wikipedia, he is what would be an Iraqi today, in today's, in today's nation state sort of scenario, from close to Nasiriyah, Iraq, would be the closest location, if I understand correctly. So they're Asians, they're Middle Eastern Asians. And in addition to being Asians, they are of Shem genome, and Shem genome is was disproportionately in the Middle East. It still is disproportionately in the Middle East, in Asia. I keep saying continent, but yes, in Asia, in the Middle East. So the Jews were saved by God, and I just wanted to reenact my own personal like. How do you explain this? How do I personally person this? Okay, I'm not a person, a human. My, what is it? I'd have to read the Bible, which I have, but my own, you know how they have like interpretive dance? I'm gonna do like an interpretive drink, so you can understand how the separation was supposed to have happened, I guess, or possibly not. Okay, let me read the Bible. We're gonna go, instead of with the New Testament, we're gonna go with the Old Testament. So for all the Uncle Toms who Moses was gonna beat to death of Ham genome, here we go. And the rest of you, of course, like Englishmen and the rest of you who are still genociding after a century, the Middle Eastern, and in a different way, the Shem genome. The Shem genome individuals is what I mean. Okay, so her disproportionately Shem genome individuals. Okay, so we're going to go to, in my, if you can see this, Holman Christian Standard Bible, red letter edition, which I've had for a while. I love this Bible. This is my favorite Bible. I have the New International Version, which I got recently from a chaplain at the hospital where my mother, unfortunately, was passing away from cancer. But I prefer this. I just love this cover. I love the feel of this Holy Bible. And I've used it for like a while to like learn slowly. But we're going to go to Exodus 3. I guess I'll start with the 3:6, let's say. And then I'll go to 3:11. Okay, random picking of what I wanted to say, but it's in what I'm gonna say. So Exodus, okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Actually, I'll start with 3:5. Do not come closer, he said. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Then he continued, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, I have observed the misery of my people in Egypt, and have heard them crying out because of their oppressors, and I know about their sufferings. I have come down to rescue them from the power of the Egyptians, and to bring them from that land to a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Okay, so if I say these names wrong in a moment, I apologize. I don't understand in English accent how to properly pronounce them necessarily. But to continue, the territory of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. The Israelites' cry for help has come to me, and I have also seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. Therefore go, I am sending you to Pharaoh so that you may lead my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses asked God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and that I should bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Okay, I'll stop there. But if I count the exact named humans, which the territory of is to be taken by the Israelites, essentially. So let me see if I can put this close enough. So right here approximately, the Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and I missed the Canaanites and Hittites. So that's six populations, because it is a sin to not count. So, yes. So the point, though, is when we celebrate, I guess, in a sense, or we could, I don't want to ritualize anything out of my own non-power, because I want to, but just to bring up the issue, when we talk about being saved by God from a continent, or like the chosen people, the Jews, saved by God from a continent back to Asia, because remember, Abraham is essentially, would be today an Iraqi, of close to Nasiriyah, Iraq. And specifically I read, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So when we're talking about the God of Abraham, obviously the same God, we were talking about God, but we were talking about the God of an individual who was born in Iraq. I guess, I have to double check, please don't quote me on this, but close to the Fertile Crescent, or like in the Fertile Crescent, and I guess pre-Babylon, because I don't know the exact history, I have to double check, but sort of essentially where Babylon is, and essentially where the Fertile Crescent is, and where today is Iraq. So anyways, to celebrate after Exodus 2, never to celebrate the Holocaust as being a good thing, or any of the pogroms, or any of the violence against the Jews, or any of Shem genome, or any human for this matter, because we know in the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not kill. But to celebrate, we're going to have, we're going to have milk and honey. So give me a moment, and I will be right back, and I won't pause the video, just give me a second. Okay, so in reverse order, starting, I think it's supposed to be milk and honey, I believe. I have to double check the order. But we're gonna start with Costco wildflower honey. Okay, and so I'm diabetic, I'm a type 2 diabetic. And in addition to this, usually I think humans use like they would use at least like a cup or like a glass and like a spoon or something, but let's do it like really, really old school way. Honey is sort of sticky, so I don't want to get my hands too sticky, but if you can see, honey, very delicious. Okay, I hate to do this. Okay, I won't. I was gonna go for some more honey. I was gonna say, I hate to do this, but I have to keep eating honey. But okay, give me a moment and I'll get the next part. Okay, so yes, I do live who I am lives very well at the moment. So in the poor humans, which I understand the gospel, blessed are the poor, the gospel according to Matthew, blessed are the poor, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. If I remember correctly, the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus Christ, Yeshua, if I understand, Isa, known by many names, the human who was 100% human, prophet, and Messiah of God. But yes, the group we are of and who I am, we live very well at the moment. Like, I'm closer to rich within the poor humans. So I'm not really like middle class in a sense. And I could describe this in further detail in a different video. And I'm certainly not the wealthy class or the rich class. I am of like the rich of the poor humans. And I can explain, like I said, in a different video. But here we are, and I hope you don't find where I am based on this sticker, but there we are. We have some, what is it? What percentage milk is it? 2%? 2% milk. Okay, so 2% milk had the honey. Okay, now for the money. Okay, so yes, had some milk. And yes, there is an Exodus 2, and a century of genocide isn't going to waste, because there is a return to Asia and to certain nations, let's say, or a certain nation. But another drink of milk, so this makes 3. So I had one part of honey and one part of milk and another part of milk I'm about to have. Okay, so you can barely see, I'm not trying to be gross, but you can barely see I had the milk and honey, so give me a moment to put the milk back. Okay, so I realize humans, while I am living, of course, I'm 100% human. I have to state this because humans get like confused. In my mind, in reality, in my hands, I'm 100% human. But humans have worshipped women and have worshipped ham genome, black skin individuals, and have worshipped anything you could possibly imagine compared to correctly worshiping God. Because black skin individuals can attack me, can attack my father, can attack my mother, can attack a wife I have, can break can be anti the 10 Commandments, and you aren't supposed to say anything. You'll be attacked. The overall, way obvious and overall attitude by like all won't be excluded is black skin humans of like Africa and generally Africans are never to be hurt, never to be harmed. They're never wrong. They're always right. They're always persecuted. Everyone is always persecuting them. They never persecute anyone. And this is completely false. And you are completely evil, and may you burn and may your father burn in hell for what you are that believe this, which believe this. Okay, who believed this, let's say. Okay, and so we have cause to rejoice, as I have said, not beg, but rejoice, because the Egyptians were, in the past, made slave owners compared to being a slave by the Jews. And now we have a second instance in history, and now ham genome, a specific population, ham genome, West African descended individuals are, with the help of Englishmen and Amerindians and Africans, and I would say with the help of women disproportionately, but I'll sort of be quiet about this, are now making slaves of the Shia Muslims, and are now making slaves again, unfortunately, though I shouldn't always speak about them, of God's chosen people and the Middle Eastern overall. Okay? How are they doing this? Well, I was thinking, if you looked at some of the images or you had think about the reality, didn't the white slave owners, like the Englishman slave owners in USA, have sex with the black women disproportionately? It wasn't the other way around. Didn't physical abuse and homicide and murder happen at a very high rate? And if any white Englishman type human was attacked, it was like the end of the world. And now we have, Black Lives Matter, one single individual, 2, 3, I have to count how many, were like once there was like a guy and he was like 6'5", and the police officer, and I'm not like okay with police officers, the Ham genome, the Englishman, the Amerindians, those are who are okay with the police officers and law enforcement. I'm different. But so if like one individual, and forget the Talmud for a second, if one individual black dies, it's the end of the world. It's like millions are dying of Shia Muslims. Okay, or like Muslims in general, to not like lie about the exact numbers, but it is millions, in the millions. It's 6 million Jews were killed in 4 years in the Holocaust in Europe. The Armenians, I think I said in a different video, 75% in the Ottoman Empire were wiped out within years. And we have non-ending warfare. We're approaching the 25th anniversary of the criminal terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda, the Sunni Al-Qaeda organization, Sunni Muslim, though they aren't actually Muslims, but the Sunni Muslim Al-Qaeda terrorist organization, which on September 11th, 2001, attacked the many sites, or attempted to, but disproportionately remembered is the Twin Towers in Manhattan, in New York City. What's the point? We as Asians have been persecuted disproportionately since the Japanese were victims of nuclear detonation of 2 nuclear weapons, the only 2 nuclear weapons so far, hopefully ever, those so far, which have been used, were used in Asia in the 1940s, in the mid-1940s on the Japanese at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Korea was attacked, Vietnam was attacked. We have, what are we talking since then? So I don't am I missing something really obvious? But we have since 2001, for instance, and earlier, but since 2001, we have Iraq being attacked. This is Asia. We have Israel being attacked. We have Palestine being attacked. We have Syria being attacked. We have Lebanon being attacked. We have Iran being attacked. So basically from East Asia to West Asia, Asia and Asians have been attacked and homicided. And finally, it's been 6 years, may not seem may seem different than what I'm saying, but finally we are gonna turn these wars around, and we are gonna stop the persecution by Europeans, by Africans, by North Americans and South Americans of Asian humans. And I just wanted to celebrate with some milk and honey. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.